Welcome to the SLSFitPod. We are here from the WellPoint Studios. WellPoint, the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point.
Love it.
This is our first podcast.
Let's go.
Excited.
Who are we? We should probably start with that.
Let's go. Let's start with who we are. Why you'd want to listen.
Sherri, do you want to start?
Yes, I'm Sherri Saroof. I'm the owner of SLS Fitness Strength and Conditioning, Lowell, Massachusetts, and I'm also the owner of Dragonfly Cafe in Lowell. And I love to share health, wellness, nutrition tips. I'm passionate about it.
All right. And Nick?
And my name is Nick Carter. I'm the general manager of SLS Fitness, and I'm excited to be here to help, I'd say, spread the wealth of health and fitness knowledge.
We have a lot.
Yeah,
we want to share it.
Excited. And I'm Elizabeth. I also work for SLS Fitness, and I'm here all things podcasts.
Love it.
And I'm very excited because this has been something 2 years in the making.
Yep.
Can we talk a little bit about why a podcast when we're a gym?
Love it. Yeah, let's talk about it. So I think the gym wants to do a podcast. We want to get all this great information out. We're out there every day doing corporate seminars. You know, we're on social media. We just want to get the word out on how to move more every day and inspiration for people to move more every day and how to get some healthy nutrition in their daily diet. And I think this is the best way to get it out to the masses and try to help people in a world where people are very busy and it's hard to fit that in sometimes. We're looking for ways to inspire them and give them the least amount of that they need to do to be healthy. I think, you know, people just don't realize it's so much it's not as much time as they think to be healthy. And I like to spread that messaging.
Yeah, and I think the podcast world has kind of boomed in the last few years. So it's such an easy way for people to get new knowledge, whether they're driving in a car or maybe they're sitting on a beach or something like that. It's just a lot easier to get that information through a podcast. So I
love my podcasts. I walk and I listen to them all the time. I want to be like podcast famous.
You want to be podcast famous?
Yes, I want this to go get as many people as we can and have people want to like us and want to listen.
I'm hoping to start small.
Okay, well, I always go big, so
I like it, and that's why we work.
That's why we work together.
You
so
know,
well. Yeah.
And for me, I always wanted to do a podcast with SLS. Again, this has been something 2 years in the making. I feel like we talked about this so long ago, and it's kind of surreal that we're doing it. Is that there's so much information online about fitness and nutrition, and it's so hard to wade through the information and figure out what actually works or what works for me and what actually like is right, I guess. So for me, I'm really passionate about like, let us wade through that information for you and hopefully some stuff works.
Well, we want to share what's tried and true, what the clinical research says. And, you know, we want to show you what we've seen for thousands and thousands of members and all our corporate members. We want to show you what we find that works for the least amount of time. If you're busy and you don't have a lot of time, we want to share what works and what doesn't for, you know, multiple challenges.
And there's so much information out there, like you said. It's hard to kind of know what's right and wrong just because social media kind of slaps us in the face every day, and there's a lot of things that may seem to be true but actually aren't. So we want to kind of help you with that.
We're going to get through all of that and give you the good stuff.
Which leads us to what we're talking about today is one of the main topics of January, which is goal setting. Because I don't know about you, I feel like everyone has a goal for January at least.
Oh, you should. I like goal setting because it's just fun.
Yeah.
Set some goals.
But there's so much with goal setting that for most people, I feel like they have a goal and then 6 weeks later it might trail off. I'm speaking from personal experience here. I'm going to out myself as someone that drops a goal in February. But for you both, what are the top goals you usually see from members? Because you both see so many members every single day and for the past couple of years. What are the top goals that people usually have?
I hear a lot of, I just need to get started. You know, I always have a goal of exercise and I just can't start. I write it down or I have that goal and I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. How do I even get started? We hear a lot of that. And then consistency. Once they start, can I stick to it? That's a goal. They stop, they start, they stop, they start. They maybe even do it for just a week and then they stop. I hear, I want more energy. I just want to feel better. A lot of people just don't feel well. They have, you know, fatigue and they're just not feeling great. or they've had a health challenge. You know, all of a sudden the doctor says, oh, I have high blood pressure, or you've got blood sugar, metabolic issues, or you've got, you know, you've gained some weight, or, you know, we hear a lot of from perimenopause, menopausal women who just, you know, what was working for them before just doesn't anymore. And they want to work on their, you know, they want to work on their body and see how they can lower their body fat and increase some muscle and some bone density. And mental health, I think a lot of people, the stress getting to them, and, you know, mental health could be it. One of the big ones I hear is the longevity. They just want to age gracefully and well. They just don't want to suffer as they get older, and they want to age. And I think exercise is the top, you know, the top thing everyone should do if they want to age gracefully. So that's what I'm hearing. I don't know, Nick, if you hear it differently.
Yeah, I mean, exercise is always the biggest one, right? If a lot of people are starting New Year's goals, it doesn't always have to be fitness and wellness, but that's usually is the top one, is to move more. Within that, you usually see, I want to lose weight, especially coming out of the holidays. That's usually the biggest one. But I mean, I know for us, like, we want to be able to help you kind of define that more of what does that actually mean, right? If you're looking to, like, we always hear oh, I want to tone up, right? And so we want to kind of break through that and kind of let you know, like, what that means and how to achieve that. But again, just exercising more. We hear people who want to walk more, get more outside, even like going through some of the trends of like the no alcohol, no sugars and whatnot for goals too.
Yeah, the
So
dry Januaries. And
to kick off the new year. So those are usually the top ones that we hear.
I find that most people that we talk to are misinformed on how to lose weight. They think they have to do way more than they think they need to do, and it's a lot simpler than it can be. Really simple for them to actually lose weight. And I think we like to cut through the noise, what you think is the, you know, kind of help you lose weight and help you what actually works. And that's the biggest thing in January. We're trying to get that messaging out. Okay, what do I need to do? And it's a lot easier than people think. So that's exciting. This should be exciting if you're listening.
So what are the top tips for these goals? Because obviously you've just listed a lot of goals. There's a lot of overlap. It sounds like a lot of people have similar goals. What are the top tips that you've seen that actually work when it comes to these specific goals, but also just goal setting in general?
Do you want me to go first, Nick?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, you can go- you can
we
go
both
first.
have a lot.
I'll jump at once.
Yeah, we have a lot. You know, just from doing this for so many years, I've been doing this my whole life. I find that the 1% better tip is one of the best ones. I love Atomic Habits. Love that book. Everyone should read that in January. It just helps you realize that 1%, one walk, 5 minutes, you know, lift up a weight, 1 rep. You know, just a little movement goes a long way, and the body responds so quickly. The human body is fascinating. It's amazing. It wants to move. It wasn't meant to sit all day. It wasn't meant to not exercise. And when you do just a little bit, especially if you haven't been doing a lot, it responds really fast. So I think that 1%, just maybe do a 5-minute workout. Like maybe just do 5 minutes of the class, not the full class. Maybe you just do something from home. Because we have a lot of virtual programming at SLS. You know, maybe we send them a video, they watch our virtual coach for 5 minutes. No one can see them, so they can do it, start slow. I think that 1%, go for 1 walk to the water cooler. You're at work, just set an alarm on your phone and walk more. Like we've done it, a lot of our companies, if we set an alarm for 4 times a day, the alarm goes off, and they just go for a walk to the bathroom and back, their metabolism actually speeds up. And that's a 1-minute walk. That's it. And I think people just think that's not working. It's actually working. Mm-hmm. It's better than sitting and the muscles atrophying, which means they're shrinking, which means your metabolism's going down. That 1% really does make a difference. And a walk, lifting something, putting it down, you know, playing with the kids, moving around, stretching a little bit at night while you're watching Celtics game, Patriots game, or any show. You know, 2-minute stretch when you're cooking your dinner and lifting. I think the 1% really does help. What's your?
Yeah, I mean, alongside of that, I think one of the biggest ones too is just the process of writing it down, right? And there's been so many studies shown that if you have it in front of you and if you write it down, that your chances to be more successful are exponential. And I mean, for me, I love doing like goal setting, and that's one of the seminars that I do within SLS. So, I mean, I bring it back to, call it 6th grade, and do an acronym, the SMART goals. So it's specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant, and then the time frame of it. Mm-hmm. So you kind of break those goals down into these categories so that you can have kind of block it out and map it out so that you can be successful with it too. So I think that really helps a lot of people, because a lot of people, when you start thinking of a goal, they almost get too overwhelmed, or it could be a goal that's almost out of reach. So you want to be able to kind of break that down and make it attainable.
Right. So you're saying kind of one of the main tips is to start small.
Yes.
And make sure
Yep.
they're attainable.
Yep.
So
one of the stucks of the roadblocks that we see is people, they have very unrealistic expectations. January 1st, I'm going to lose 40 pounds. I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to go to hot yoga. I'm going to do this. It's like, that's not going to happen. I think if you start small with, I'm going to walk for 5 minutes today. Tomorrow, I'm going to sit on the floor and get up off the floor. Just after dinner, and write them down, and then they achieve them, and I feel great. That was nothing, and then they do it again and again, and that's what starts the mindset changes right then and there of just a little bit, and they actually start to feel better. And the research says there is, the body does change after one bite of broccoli, after one sip of water, after, one get up off the ground and get up, or just that mobility pattern that you just don't use. And we go into companies all the time, make everybody on the ground. They just can't get up. Why are you going to go do an hour-long crazy workout if you just can't even get up from the ground? So start small.
Yeah, and that's where like getting specific with those goals kind of helps that too. Like we see a lot of people who have very vague goals, right? It's like, oh, I want to move more, or I want to eat healthier. It's like, but what does that actually mean, right? And so like to be specific with it, it could be, all right, say I walk 5,000 steps. That's a specific goal, right? And then you're able to measure that, and you're able to track that, and that's an easier way to keep track of that and see how you progress and see how you can move along with those goals.
If you walk 3,000 steps a day, maybe your goal is to walk 3,500 steps the next day. That's small and doable and achievable, and you feel good.
So build it over time.
Yes, it doesn't.
Yep.
The body doesn't like to go too fast, too quick anyway, especially if you haven't been working out in a while. It gets traumatized. It needs little bits, moving slow, and it really responds well to that. And then you don't get injured, because fear of injury and starting in a gym and going to a gym, that's a lot of roadblocks for people. I don't know what to do. How am I going to look? People are going to look at me. Am I going to stand out? I haven't been working out. Those are all, fear challenges that we try to help them with, that starting small and making them go a lot less than they thought they were going to do. And they feel good, and they notice no one's looking at them, and they can wear whatever they want, and they can just, it takes away all the fear of them being too sore or getting injured, or, it's a good roadblocks.
Right. I feel like it's a similar thing of, if you write something down and you check it off, it makes you feel so much better.
Absolutely.
So it's the same kind of thing.
I'm going to check off my list, girl.
And then leave room for your mindset and your body, whatever it is, to adjust to your
Absolutely.
goal is what I'm kind of getting.
Yeah.
This is super helpful for me in my goal setting, because I usually either make too many goals.
Yeah.
Personally.
Overachiever.
Okay.
Overachiever, goal setter.
Or they're not specific enough and they're so broad. Like, I think a main goal that I always hear, and one of mine, is to be more consistent. But is that not specific enough, do you think?
I think it's a good way to start. But if you can get the more specific you can get week by week, I would say just break that down to just tomorrow.
Okay.
What can I do tomorrow? And then what can I do for the week? And just keep it super simple, but be specific. I'm going to walk 3,000 steps a day, and I'm going to stretch for 5 minutes. I'm just going to stretch in the kitchen while I'm stirring soup or something. Like, just, little things that you can start to add in go a long way. If you're so inclined, I think hiring a trainer is the best you can do, because they're going to show you what to do. What we do at SLS is we do an evaluation of like where you're at, so you're not going to hurt your back. We're going to check your spine health. We're going to check your, core, where it's at. People might feel good doing a lot, but their core is not ready for it from sitting too much. So we kind of regress you, look at where you're at, and then we slowly progress you out. And the trainer, have an appointment. The trainer meets you. They meet your needs. I think is one of the best things you can do for yourself for self-care. And then there's groups. If you don't want to do it alone, you can do 4 of your friends or 3 of your friends, or you can do like a little, whatever you get. You can have 2 people, father, son, or, 2 business partners at work. It's good to have partners as well. And having a trainer meet you, put the appointment in your book, and have that maybe once a week, and they set you up for the whole rest of the week, either for home or in the gym. I think just getting those simple little goals are helpful.
Yeah, and that's where it comes back to like what you said about having just one goal to start. Because as we know, I mean, if we have too many things that we're juggling in the air, it can be very challenging and some of them may even just cross over and contradict each other, right? Of like what you're trying to accomplish. So I'd say stick with one, start with one, build on that. And I think a big thing too is like celebrate the small wins. I think that's what helps. brings the enjoyment out of it. So.
Right. So we talked about some top tips, and you already started to talk about it, I feel like, but what are the major roadblocks you see with people goal setting, and or even just in general when they first come to a gym or they're first starting to think about nutrition and all of that? What do you think are the major roadblocks you see, like the patterns you see with most people?
Well, the lack of time in a day.
Right.
So if they're working 40 hours a week, or they have busy schedules after work with kids and schedules and driving the kids to sports and all that, I feel like that's one of the roadblocks we see, lack of time.
Yeah, and to kind of go alongside of that too is like even just the accessibility to a gym. I think a lot, and that's why we've transformed into, especially when COVID happened, like transforming to a virtual and online presence. I think that has helped a lot of people, so that you, not to say that you don't have a reason not to, but now it's like we're making it easier for you, so that if you can't get to a gym, you can also do it online and do it virtually as well.
And we feel comfortable knowing that if we're going to give you a virtual class, it's a coach that really knows what they're doing. Sometimes when you go online and it's willy-nilly, you don't know the coach's experience. I mean, there's a lot of great virtual coaches, don't get me wrong, but we want someone that's educated, that knows how to start you and not hurt you or do too much too quick. So I think it's important that the virtual programming was one of the things that we thought would really help get us out there in the community if lack of time was one of the biggest things.
Right.
So I think I hear lack of time as being one of the biggest roadblocks.
Yeah, and I think another one that I typically hear is the lack of fast results. I think that we live in a world of like where we have everything at our fingertips, and it's like we get things so fast, so easily, that you see these people go through the motions, whether they're starting a new fitness program, or you hear about like the yo-yo dieting of doing different diets every 2-3 months, and it's like then their body gets all out of whack. So that's a big one, because then they're just all over the place of kind of going back and forth between different programs.
You have to ask yourself when you're setting the goals, is this realistic? If I'm no sugar, no gluten, no alcohol, I'm gonna do 30 days, I'm gonna go to the gym every day, is that realistic? And I think if you're setting unrealistic expectations, you're going to have a roadblock. So we just try to keep it as simple as you can, because you're not going to give up all that. I think just adding water. I'm going to drink one more cup of water today should be just one of the goals. Or I'm just going to have veggies today. I'm going to have one veggie in today. I'm going to have more greens, because the greens are cancer fighters, and they're fiber, and they're the most anti-inflammatory food there is all your broccoli and your, all the healthy greens. So maybe that's just the goal of the day. It's not like I'm going to eliminate all these food groups and I'm going to do this extreme dieting, because it's just not sustainable in it for, the average person. I think just adding more of those vegetables is a big win. So I think that Nick's got a good point of having these unrealistic expectations and doing the extreme. The United States is very extreme. It's supersize me everything. I think that we have to make it simpler for people. It's like, I'm not going to have just a soda. I'm going to have a supersize me soda. I'm not, or a Slurpee supersizer. I'm not going to just do yoga. I'm going to do heated yoga at $110, 110 degrees. I'm going to do spin at 110. Those are all great. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I'm just saying that it's all extreme. It's very little bits really respond well to the body. It's what the body is meant to do. Just a little stretch. Yoga, small yoga, even a small 15-minute yoga. It doesn't have to be long to start. And then maybe you do get into a nice restorative hour yoga after a while. But if that's not what you have time for, that's okay. And I think, thinking about in your food, when you're grocery shopping, just think about adding more whole foods into that's a great thing. I'm just going to add some more veggies and some fruits this week, and just add more whole foods. And those, setting those simpler goals for you and your family is important.
Right. One of the big things that I feel like I learned, Nick, going to one of your seminars one day, I went with Nick to a corporate seminar, and he did his goal setting one. And you talked about knowing the why behind your goal and how that was important. Not that I've never heard that before, but I feel like it was a bit of an aha moment for me and the people in the seminar. Why is it important to know the why behind your goals?
Well, I think that's what I'd say causes you to be able to want to do something, right? And I think that's you have to know your why behind doing something. Otherwise, you're gonna have no motivation to do it, right?
Right.
If I randomly said I wanted to, hey, I'm gonna go run a marathon, but I'm just like, just try doing it, right? I'm probably not gonna train for it. I'm probably not gonna have any motivation to go and actually run that long. So you have to have a reason why. That's why, like, when we do our new member assessments, we want to get to the root of that thing. And people may answer it in one question, but then we want to dig deeper. We want to figure out, like, all right, so yeah, you want to lose weight, but why? Okay, maybe you don't know. You find out 2 questions later that they have a wedding later in the year. Now you know their why, right? So that's what we want to find out, because that's what we know is what is going to motivate them to actually do it, right? And that's what you can constantly bring up, and for their, whether it's a check-in or seeing their progress, you'll know, like if they have their why, then you'll know. So
Yeah, the why is crazy important. Oh, because you know what? If you've had a health issue and your goal is to stop moving because you just found out you're pre-diabetic, that's your why, to live longer and not suffer. If you're a parent and you love your children, your why is, I want to age for them and I don't want to be a burden on them. I want to make sure that I have my health to take care of them. I know a lot of dads will come in and say, I can't carry my kid. My back's been so, the why is I want to carry my children and be able to pick them up and do stuff with them. Even the marathon, I'm going to run for charity, and I'm going to think of all those kids at St. Jude and run, or I'm going to think of whatever charity you decide. I think the why is important, and it's a great mindset of knowing the why, because a lot of times, the why is a health issue that really could cause a lot of suffering in the future, or independent living, or lack of independent living as you age. And I think that's important. Like bone density, I just found out my bone density, I have low bone density, and I've got to work on that so I don't end up not being able to move as I age, or I end up break, or I fall and I break my hip and now I can't move because of the bone density. That's a great why to start strength training. That's a great way to say, I'm going to build these bones before taking medication. So the why is crazy. What would be a good why for you, Elizabeth?
For just in general?
Just to be a good, healthy daughter to your mom?
Yeah, totally. That's my main reason why for everything. I think it depends on what the goal is.
Yeah.
I think I said it earlier. One of my main goals this year is to be more consistent. I am the lack of consistency person. I'm really good, and then I'm really bad. And there's kind of no in between. And I think I want to ask about mindset next anyway, so this kind of goes into it. But I'll do one thing on a Tuesday and I'll feel so good about doing it on a Tuesday. And the next Tuesday I don't do it, and then I feel so bad about not doing it again. So
we call you the all or nothing person.
Yes, I'm an all or nothing person. And how would you help an all or nothing person? Not for personal reasons.
So much. That's part of the mindset piece of this.
Okay.
We see a lot of it. They just self-sabotage themselves. They did it great for 2 days, and then the third day, it's all or nothing. I'm done.
Right.
I really would love to change the mindset around that. The mindset is, I didn't do it today, but tomorrow I'm gonna do 1 minute. And then maybe you just got to go back to something so simple. I'm just going to go for a walk. And just don't beat yourself up. It can't be all or nothing. That's not a really healthy mindset for you when it comes to health and wellness, fitness. A lot of people do that. They're on a diet, and Friday night they crush a pizza and drink some beer, and then I'm done. No, you had a fun pizza and beer, and it was wonderful, and you needed it, and it was Mardi Gras night, and that's fun. The next day, you just go back to eating some fruits and vegetables, and if you have another Mardi Gras, who cares? You just got to think, I'll go back to it. Everyone's like, I'll start it on Monday, but if they don't, it's all or nothing. Again, back to that simple 1%. Maybe I just have some vegetables today and get some of that nutrient-dense foods in there. It's okay that I had, I went off the plan. It's really okay. So that's the all or nothing.
Right. I guess that goes back to, I was thinking about my why while you were talking, because you asked and I realized I never answered.
Yes, we'd like to hear this, please.
I've noticed in the last year, I know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat for my answer.
I was going to wrap back around if you didn't.
Okay, well, thank you. One of the biggest things I've learned about myself this past year is I feel the best mentally if I'm moving consistently. I've noticed a very, very strong correlation between the two. And I notice I feel best in the summer. Now, granted, there's other elements in the summer that I love with the weather, but I am the most mindful in the summer, and I move the most in the summer because I play volleyball. I walk all the time outside because it's so nice out.
We do a lot of outdoor sports. Yeah,
we do a lot of outdoor sports, hiking, and I notice I just feel so much better. And then the winter, now I know there's the winter blues, but
there's a lot to that.
I do believe that there's a giant movement component to that. So for my why is, how do I be the best person, feeling the best more consistently? And I think it's from movement is an easy way I can try to do that.
Absolutely.
So
I think, you got to realize we live in New England. It's going to get cold and dark.
Yeah.
So when you go into it, you have to realize that it might not be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, but anything, having a walking pad in your living room to do 5 minutes at night, something at the end of the day, if you're like, I did not get all this done, maybe you just walk. I mean, they sell these walking pads now at Amazon that are so small that fold up. You don't even see them. You can hide them under your, couch, but you pull them out during watching any show for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, any movement that's it's winter, it's dark, so I'm not going to go outside. So I'm going to just get on there. I'm going to lay on the floor and foam roller. I'm going to lay on the floor and just stretch.
Right.
The dog's going to jump all over you. It's going to be fun, but I'm stretching. It's like trying to reframe the winter and the darkness and the cold to what will help you mentally. Because that's a mental health thing and there's lots of research on the sun and the sun, giving you more energy and helping you feel good, and the lack of sun, doing the difference. So, right. And I think doing community type stuff that makes you feel alive and fun, that brings up the mental health aspect of doing more fun, fitnessy things indoors that will cheer you up.
So you kind of saying, if you want to move more, kind of hack it to what you like.
Absolutely.
So you're enjoying it
a dance
more.
class,
right.
Or you go into an indoor volleyball thing, or you pick a pickleball tournament indoors, like something that's fun because you like to do that, but specific to you.
Right.
That's helping you.
Do either of you have stories about learning your why or the goal that you saw through that worked, that was a success story, or even roadblocks you faced and how you overcame it?
Yeah, I mean, one of mine, and I'm going to be probably doing a similar one this year. I play a lot of hockey, and I get to travel overseas for it. And one of mine was, I hate to say this, now that I'm getting up there in age.
You're really not, but that's okay.
Getting a little bit older, but it's for me it's like I want to make sure that I'm in the best possible shape to be able to play in these competitions and whatnot. So for me, I set a specific goal, and like 2 years ago it was to lose 10 pounds from January 1st to June 10th when we left. And kind of like what I was talking about, like it's very specific. I was able to measure it, obviously, like with our in-body machine that we have. I knew it was achievable, and I knew it was relevant to me, right? Because that was directly going to affect how I played in the sport. And then the time frame, it was over the course of 6 months, and I knew that losing 10 pounds over the course of 6 months is very doable. Obviously you have to be consistent and I'd say be good at like the health aspects as well, and the nutrition aspects. So that was one that I saw through, and I mean it definitely helped me. I felt great, and I think that's another one where I'm going to be doing that this year too, for when I travel overseas. So
have to watch that. Keep an eye on that in-body for you.
Yeah, I just did it yesterday. So
okay, starting point. Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, now everyone listening is going to ask you about it.
Yeah.
So
Good.
that's good though, right?
It's going to be good community helping you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Do you
like it.
have a goal?
Well, I'll tell you about a story that happened to me for just in context for this. So for years and years and years, I taught all these crazy classes. I taught, boxing and strength, and I was doing every day, lots of people would go, and it was popular. I taught all these classes, and I got injured. And so I stopped for a little bit, healed, and then went back to work, happy, going back to, and then I got injured again. And the doctor who was working on my knee, he's actually the Celtics doctor at the Baptist, said, you got to figure something out that's different than what you're doing right now. And I was like, well, what do you mean? This is me. It's who I am. I'm a runner. I teach boxing. This is my job. It's my career. And he said, well, you just, as you age and you're getting older, and I was in perimenopause, hormonal kind of fluctuations time. He said, you just can't pound on the body like this anymore. Like, it's just, you're going to keep getting injured. And I was really depressed. So I had to set a goal of the why. What's my why? And I thought, if I can't do all the jumping and the crazy stuff, he said, well, start walking, start cycling. I'm like, walking? Like, that's not going to do anything for me. Like, I'm a fitness professional, like walking. He's like, you'd be surprised. He's like, it's really good on the joints, and you got to think about the joints as you age. And I was like, oh, fine. So I started walking, never thinking I would like it. And, it literally changed my life. Not only did I didn't have the fatigue I had teaching all the classes. I was really dehydrated all the time from sweating so much. I started walking, and it mentally helped me. I just did small walks, and I felt like a huge transformation in my body. Like I could do so much more because I wasn't pounding on the body. I really enjoyed the walking. I didn't gain the weight. I felt like I managed the weight and my, muscle. And I just still did strength training, but I just didn't do all the pounding. And my why was that I wanted to, age gracefully for my kids. I wanted to climb a mountain, hike with them, do things with them. I didn't want to be one of those people that's like, I can't go because I have a bunion, my shoulder, my hip. I wanted to like travel and do things with them and not be a burden on them. So that's my why now with strength training and bones, and make sure my bones stay healthy and making sure that I do enough to have a good high quality life to travel with them and do everything. And I think it worked because we went to Utah and Sedona. We climbed like the biggest mountains, and I was up there with you guys.
You were.
I was climbing. I felt good. Made me feel like it was all working.
It was awesome, especially because that's something you've talked about so long doing.
Yes.
And the fact that you did every single hike.
I did.
Actually, you were the one with the most energy and the least tired out of our whole entire family. Says something, I think.
Yes.
You trained the most for it, too, because you walk so much.
Yeah. I was on training. It's just, I have a lot of energy anyway, so.
I think that's an understatement.
Pretty high. But, it did feel good that I could do that with my kids side by side and climb, and just, I'm an aging female who wants to age gracefully and be able to do these things. And it was important to do it with my kids and be so happy, and to see them see me take care of myself and know that I'm not going to be a burden. I care about, them so much that they don't have to worry about me. And that was important. So that was my big story. Long, sorry.
No, it's good to hear. I think it helps people understand how, because I think the three of ours were really different in different ways.
Yeah.
And everyone's are different. So I think it's good to hear the different perspectives. Okay, so going back. So the top tips are what? Set an attainable goal. Start small.
Yes, very small.
Let yourself adjust to what you need. Maybe you have a person to help you, keep you consistent.
Yep. If you need support, definitely get support. It helps.
Right. Is there such a thing as too many goals at once, do you think?
I guess if you can't, again, just, if they're unrealistic in a day of what you can do. And I mean, I feel like people can do way more in an 8-hour day than they think they can, but I feel like make sure that they're realistic with your job and your kids and your life and what you have going on.
And I think that they have to be, I don't want to say so different from each other, but if they're all very similar or within the same group, that's where it may get confusing and very challenging to do certain things. But if you have like a movement goal and then a nutrition goal, right? Like that's very doable because they're two separate things and they shouldn't overlap at all.
Right.
Big tip right now is, you want to build habits before intensity. It's, you want to, if you remember anything today, it's the habit before the 2 hour long, the extreme eating. It's you just get a little habit. I'm just going to drink a little more water. I'm just going to move more. Like those, you're going to set your goals first. Habits before intensity.
Would you say one of your tips is to make an action board?
Love my action board. Yes. I would. Why are you laughing? You have an action board?
Do you have an action board?
He doesn't have one.
I know that I'm the only one that doesn't have an action board.
You don't have to. It's just a fun thing to do that, and there's just so much clinical research on it right now that it actually does work. I mean, there's tons of books on it now. All these doctors and from Boston and Harvard. And I mean, there's so many great books on like action boards, actually putting on an action board and staring at it every day of what your goals are actually help. So I'm not opposed to it.
It's funny because we made them the first like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And mine were really vague, like very vague goals. And I put really aesthetic pictures on there and nothing came true from it. And the next year I asked you about like, why did nothing happen? You're like, you're not specific enough. Mm-hmm. You need to be more specific. Mm-hmm. So I took the time and was very specific, narrowed it down because you told me that too. You're like, you have 50 goals. That's way too many. And things started to actually work because I think you told me be more specific and cut out maybe like 80% of them and make sure you can actually attain them. And it felt really good to do it.
Yeah.
So
and you're like, this is working. I'm like, yes. The brain will actually start to, there's something in the brain that when you actually put a picture, write it down, think about it, something in the brain changes that it helps you start to move in that direction. So you're motivated to do it, which is nuts. That's crazy that there's something in the brain changes to motivate you. You're like, I have no motivation to do anything. But when you do these action boards and you stare at it, something in the brain clicks to be like, to help you, motivate you to take action. Nuts. The brain's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was piggybacked by Nick doing the SMART goals worksheet. Is there a way people can find that online to kind of understand or write out some of their goals?
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's general worksheets all over Google that you can just find. But I mean, it will list out literally each letter, the acronym, and then even just give you ideas on how to do that. Because you can do this for any goal. It doesn't have to be for health, fitness, nutrition. It could be for financial. It could be for anything really. So I think it's a great tool to use, as silly as it may sound, going back to like a 6th grade worksheet, but
Yeah,
it works. Yeah.
Works great. Would you like us to, and for the last few minutes, talk about like some of the tips we would give people for exercise and nutrition if they don't have them?
Yes, I'd love that.
Because we can go over, like, if you sat with us. So we do a lot of corporate wellness seminars. We go into companies and talk about all this. But I think today, since it's January and it's our first podcast, let's drop some, like...
Let's do it.
Drop some tips.
Not me. You both do it.
So movement is medicine. Food is medicine. If you remember that every day, there's foods that harm, there's foods that heal. So you want to think about in your nutrition, just trying to get as much of the foods that heal, the nutrient dense, the ones that have the most power packed nutrient in the body as you can. And that's most of your foods from the earth. If it's a plant, if it's, has a mother or a father, that's the kind of food you want to go for. So I wouldn't think about anything else, just adding those foods. That's our first tip. The more greens, oranges, bright colors, more plants, more healthy, proteins, which is your eggs, your fish, your chicken, your turkey, your nuts, all those things, just adding a little bit in is a big win. So that would be one of my top tips right there, is that nutrition.
Yeah, and then one of mine is just, I know we talked about like it being winter, but trying to get any type of movement that you can. And it doesn't have to be an hour in the gym. It could be like, for me, I know when it's cold out, like in my apartment building, I'll just go up and down the steps, like up and down the stairs. So I'm on the 2nd floor. So
all right. And you're a trainer who's working out all day. So that's pretty good that you even do the steps at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I mean, my dog wants to go, my dog wants to go outside, so he runs around a lot. But I mean, there's other ways to go around it, right? Like you can be inside and doing stuff, like you talk about the walking pad, but I mean, just doing something virtually. Like it could be just body weight. It doesn't have to be the heavy lifting, the massive weights every single time, right? As long as you are getting some type of movement, and like I said, it could be more of like a recovery and stretch type of movement as well.
Okay, so wrap around nutrition, you get the whole food. Second is move. I always tell people walk, 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 walk. I say it 100 times. Just walk more every day. It's just movement. The body was meant to walk. It loves it. You don't have to do anything special. You can do it anywhere. You don't have to join anything. The more steps you get in a day, the healthier you will be. And there's so much research on it, but we're going to do a whole podcast on walking because I love it so much. But anyways, 2 would be the movement. 3rd is you have to strength train. You have to lift something up, put it down. For bones, it's so important for bone density, especially for women as they getting older. We see lots of issues with osteoporosis and osteopenia, and that's quality of shifts. You have to strength train. Now, the strength training for longevity, for bones, and for just metabolism, to speed up your metabolism, get that muscle on your frame, is not as much as you think. It really is not as heavy as you think and not as much as you think. You just have to find a way to do 5-10 minutes of some sort of bone and muscle building. The muscle, if you have more muscle in your body, your metabolism speeds up. If you have more muscle in your body, your independent living you'll have a lot more longevity. You have to open a can. You have to put your suitcase over the airplane luggage. People can't even put the suitcase up. You have to be able to pick things up, put these up for independent living. So I think if you're younger, you want to prevent that for the future, and you want to get that strength training in now for metabolism and to prevent metabolic disease. If you're getting older, you want independent living. So I think those strength training, walking, not a lot, but we could help you with that if you ever need help with just basic strength training, eating more whole foods. And then the 4th one is your thoughts, your mind. Stinking thinking is a big thing. You can't be like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, that's too much for me. Oh, I love my Doritos. I could never give them up. We're not asking to give them up. We're asking to add more whole foods in. Or I can't do that. Or that all or nothing. Oh, I ate all that, so I'm done. Or, I think mindset matters. What you say to your body actually does affect it. If you say, no, I'm healthy and strong, and I'm that really matters. The body, it does translate. The brain the mind does have a lot to do with the body. And I feel like there's more to the mindset. That fixed thinking opposed to that, that mindset, that fixed, opposed to that growth mindset. Well, I'm going to do a little more today. Not like, oh, I didn't do it today. It's that going into that growth mindset. So those are, I don't know, that's quick top. Anything else you want to add in after you're sharing all that?
No, I think obviously we'll dive more into these specific topics a little bit more, but I think that those are the main ones. I mean, especially if you're just starting out for the new year.
And if you want to reach out to us on topics, we'd love it. We're going to have guests come in here. We'll help you with all these different topics to help you. We'd love for you to send us an email. I'm Sherri at SLSFitness.com. It's SHERRI at SLSFitness.com. Elizabeth's Elizabeth at SLS.com. And Nick is N Carter at SLSFitness.com.
I feel like you teased a little bit, but what's to come. But please let us know what you would like to hear, people out there, wherever you are. I feel like I'm looking around. Let us know what topics you'd like to hear from us. You can follow us at SLS Fitness on Instagram and all the things. What are your ats really quick if people want to follow you too?
Mine's Coach Carter 12.
I'm Sherri-Saroof on Instagram.
I think that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Listen, everyone out there, we care. We want to help. You need inspiration. Everyone needs a coach. Drake May needs a coach. Tom Brady needs a coach. Nick needs a coach. Coaches need coaches. We all need somebody to support you and help you in your health journey. And if we could be part of your health, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health and you're suffering, it's something that we're out there trying to help you think about that and keep your health and not suffer in the future. And that's our goal.
Yeah, thank you for whoever listens to this. And obviously we want to be able to help as many people as possible. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be excited to talk about it as well. So excited to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah. Thank you. This has been the SLSFitPod brought to you by WellPoint Studios. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you all next month. It's our first one. Yay! Cue the cheering noise that we don't have. Yay!
Podcast.
Thank you.